tuned for sports. Keeping Score with Jess and Dean, the Dream.
It is Sunday, January 14th. Hello, Dean.
Big shake-up this week in the football world, especially around here.
What?
Good morning.
Come on. What happened?
Crazy.
Something happened with the Patriots?
Yeah, I told you my goal was to go on the air, do our show,
Yep.
7:90 The Score. I'm happy to be here, but I was, obviously it maybe wasn't the coach that I was expecting, but we're gonna get it. We're gonna dive into it. I don't know if an hour does it justice.
I
It's
know.
a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moves made around the football world, and especially here in Foxborough and New England in our area.
Yeah, so it's, big news, big stories, and a lot of people have opinions on it, and some people are upset that Bill's no longer here. I think we were both on board with, it was his time to go. However, as you said, not thrilled about the new head coach, but who knows? Who knows? We got to go in there with an open mind. He's 37 years old. You never know. He may have he may have some really good plays.
What?
Who knows? And we get rid of all the Belichicks, which I'm pretty thrilled about because they look like Steve Belichick looks like he should be in the back of a trailer park.
You ever noticed that we never really heard about, there was the other son. He's on the staff also. It's Brian, I believe. But we never really heard about what his role was, what he did.
He just walked
Steve
around.
was the guy, that you really saw all the time. And it's still, as we see Gerard Mayo announced as the 15th head coach in Patriot history, he was only considered, Mayo, the defensive assistant. And it was Steve Belichick who was considered the defensive coordinator. I don't know who was calling the plays. The defense wasn't bad.
Nope, very
of course,
good.
Especially losing Judon and Gonzalez early in the season against Dallas, and I believe in week 4. So the defense came together and had a pretty decent season. And of course, unfortunately, they were on the field way too much.
Yeah.
And that usually is a testament to your offense.
Well, the fact that they were so good consistently, playing so much more than they should, that's a good thing.
Yeah, when your top free agent acquisition was Juju Smith-Schuster with 263 yards receiving for the year.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and
I think you had more than that.
Yeah, I've seen guys that had C.D. Lamb had games like that this year. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
All right, so we're going to get more into that. Before we get into anything else, I want to say we are reordering merch. So I did have some people saying they want more stuff. My friend Sharon, Kenny, Steve on Facebook. We got Brenda making orders. And I need to explain to the public, because I had to explain to you for so long, on what a crew neck is. What I'm wearing right now, by the way, we're on YouTube. This is a crew neck champion sweatshirt. Okay. I would never charge $40 for a t-shirt. It's a sweatshirt, but it's crew neck because the neck does not have anything around it. It's a crew neck.
I see.
Where a lot of people think it's a t-shirt. Nope, it's a sweatshirt. Then we have the hoodie, and then if people want to order t-shirts. But it seems like the hoodie and the crew neck are very popular. Crew neck's coming back big. I have to order another
good.
20. Yeah.
Things are good. You're busy. I'm trying to contribute. And obviously, I had a little glitch with a couple of friends. I had someone reach out to me and say, well, I got jobbed. I never got my Keeping Score sweatshirt. I'm like, listen, Jess and I have done our due diligence to make sure that they get into everyone's hands. And our loyal listener, Droops, who's like a brother to me, him and DeMayo are very tight. But I guess Droops has it in his possession and hasn't seen Steve. We didn't know that. So I just want to let you know.
I would have just mailed it out.
But I had you obviously looking around in bags trying to see if it was in the lost and found. What are we doing here? So I did text.
I'm like, no sweatshirts here. Just deliver it.
I didn't appreciate the Mayo's accusation that that we were delinquent in our delivery. So I'm like, listen, your boy's got it. He just hasn't seen you. I don't know. You want me to come back and get it? And I'll take it to Cumberland.
Did he not know that he was picking it up?
All along, he just didn't think he got it. And I told obviously Steve, and when Droops' wife picked up the swag and she got both, and I guess they're still at Droops' residence.
The people we need, and by the way, anyone that orders something, make sure you take a picture of yourself wearing it so we can post it on our socials. So once again, hoodie, crew neck, V-neck is obvious, but we're not getting into that right now.
I noticed you put Mark Lombari up on Instagram, loyal listener, and looks like a little bit, looks like David Wells, former Yankee pitcher, a little bit.
He kind of did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a big fan of Wells, too. He liked
Did he used to play baseball?
Him and I played amateur ball, Ocean State together.
Oh, very nice.
Mark was a catcher, first baseman, cheerleader.
You know what that means.
Throwing curveball.
There it is.
Oh, a little hot stove off season, throwing the hook.
All right, so we have so much to get to, but I just want to remind everybody, Venmo me, see Dean, stop on by Antonio's. We've had a lot of pickups there.
Sales are good.
Yeah, they are good. So it's once again, crew necks 40, hoodies $45.
Working on a new sponsor. Things are good.
Yeah,
things are
that's going to be fun. I got to order his sizes
fun times
too.
here at Keeping Score.
Yeah, so nothing to complain about. Let's get right into football action.
Robert and I, after a series of discussions, have mutually agreed to part ways. And for me, this is a day of gratitude and celebration. Start with Robert and his family. It's great. So much thanks for the opportunity to be head coach here for 24 years. It's an amazing opportunity. Received tremendous support. We had a vision of building a winner, building a championship football team here, and that's exceeded my wildest dreams and expectations. The amount of success that we were able to achieve together, through a lot of hard work and contributions of so many people. So I'm very proud of that, and I always have those great memories. I'll carry with those with me the rest of my life. There's so many memories of the fans, the send-offs, the parades, the Sundays, whatever the situations are, the letters of support, seeing the fans, away from here, at a gas station or a grocery store, or where would you bump into them? Patriot fans here, and not just in New England, but they extend nationally and even internationally as I've traveled. It's amazing how far the arm reaches. We saw that this year in Germany. So appreciative of the fans for all the support they've given me, my family, and this football team. And it's with just so many fond memories and thoughts that I think about the Patriots, and I'll always be a Patriot. I look forward to coming back here, but at this time, we're gonna move on, and I look forward. I'm excited for the future, but always very, very appreciative of the opportunity here, the support here, and what you've done for me. Thank you.
So that was Bill. He is done. And I felt like when he was talking about the fans, he did, and he doesn't seem like an emotional person, but he did seem like he was very genuine with that.
It was real. It was authentic. And I guess if you saw the beginning of the press conference the other day, Kraft said, I'm not going to hug Bill because he is nursing a cold. And you could probably hear he was a little bit, but I think that was more emotion than it was the cold. I think he was feeling it there. I mean, he wasn't going to go to tears, but I think he was reflecting on a wonderful run. And I'm thinking about it, Jess. I'm looking at myself at 52. I'm thinking about what a run. 24 years, a good, almost half a portion of my life has been this Belichick run. You're almost like, you're a little younger than me, so you're pretty much almost exactly half of your life. You've seen this 24-year run. So you take 20 years, you say the last 4 years were not enjoyable. But a good 2 decades was just a magical time, and I don't think we'll ever see that. I hope we're around for years to come, but unfortunately, I doubt that we'll ever see anything like this, especially when you have, quarterback and coach together the way Tom and Bill did it. And I think Brady posted something on social media. It was heartfelt, and he said, I would never be the player that I am without Bill Belichick. And I'm emotional about it because even though you and I both agreed it was time, and I still believe that, I'm hell bent on that. But it's still emotional when you realize that he's not there anymore, and he's he built something up. And I'm tired of hearing it was all Tom. Tom's amazing. There's nobody like him, but it takes a coach. The inmates can't run the asylum, and he put together some teams, especially like Kraft said, in an era in the early 2000s when you started with the salary cap, you had to manipulate it and manage contracts to get guys to be able to fit guys in and to bring players in. Obviously, over the years, he's struggled, especially on the offensive side of the football, drafting players. But the body of work, it doesn't lie. 24 seasons, 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots, 9 trips to the Super Bowl. Yeah. It's just, you're never going to see anything like this. You look at Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, they're on a nice little run now, but it's bittersweet time, but it's time to move on.
No, it's an end of an era for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a legend. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I wonder if they're going to even do like a statue of him. I feel as though now it's weird because he doesn't work there anymore, but who knows? I guess what I was thinking about it is like, I guess my question is he going to be taking all his family with him wherever he goes?
Yeah. Yeah, listen, we got to scrape the cupboard here. It's time to retool it, and it's Gerard Mayo time. We'll get into it, but its question is like, where's Bill going to land? And this is the whole. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've got a bunch of different spots just for fun talk we can talk about.
I like fun talk. Do you want to have a fun bed with fun talk?
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
this is kind of fun.
Soothing tunes here.
Let's do a little fun time.
So, obviously, Bill is going to coach again. And I believe at the age of 72, Jess, there won't be a bridge year, which means he's not going to go into broadcasting free. I'm not saying he doesn't have the time to do that, but I don't think at his age he has time to burn a year.
Right.
He needs to keep going.
Oh,
He
yeah.
needs to keep the energy. And he's going to take a team that's ready-made. Okay? Now, I've got a bunch of spots. Now, this week, I'll just really quick go through. Obviously, you've seen some of the rumors. Atlanta's already hot for him,
Yes.
okay? Arthur Blank's an older owner. He knows what the Patriots did to his team a few years back in the Super Bowl. He'd love to have Bill. There's talent there. They've got a high draft choice. They need a quarterback, but they've got talent across the board on both sides of the football. The kid Bijan Robinson, 1,400 yards from scrimmage this year, the rookie from Texas. Kyle Pitts has been, the tight end's been an underachiever so far, but with a quarterback and a great coach, I think they could be a destination for Bill. Indoors, East Coast, you're looking at Atlanta. I don't know on that one. It doesn't feel right. Everyone says the Chargers. I don't see Bill as a West Coast guy. Everyone's saying Justin Herbert. I told you that's Drew Bledsoe 2.0.
Yeah, no.
I don't feel that one either. I'm looking still. I look at some of those East Coast teams. The Giants right now, I know they still have Dayball, but that's where it all started for Bill as far as a defensive coordinator under Bill Parcells. He won 2 Super Bowls. Would they at least be interested if Bill was interested? Possible. The Washington Commanders, I know you probably say, I told you Ron Rivera, it was over. Finally got the
poor
picks.
guy.
I know. But after 3 seasons, Rivera's gone. Belichick has ties there because he went to Annapolis. So that's an area for him. And he loves those old school teams, the original teams, an East Coast team. That's where he could continue his career. They've got a high draft choice, too. They got, I believe, the number 2 pick in the draft. So, they're not going to go with Sam Howell. They'll probably go quarterback. So there's some teams in there. What I'm going to tell you is that the dark horse teams, don't forget Pete Carroll out in Seattle. I think Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator from the Cowboys, that lines up for him. He was there before under Carroll. He could be the new head coach there. That's my prediction on Seattle.
Okay.
As Carroll gets kicked upstairs for now, we'll see if he ends up coaching. There's not much attention around him. He kind of went under the radar this week because of Belichick.
Right.
And, of course, Nick Saban at Alabama. My dark horses, I look at these teams in the playoffs this weekend. You look at some of these teams. If there's an early exit by a couple of these teams that are favored heavily, look out. I know you say Dallas, no, because Jerry Jones is a control freak, but I'm just saying there's a friendship there. Look out for that.
Yeah, but there's 2 big egos, I think.
True. But, Jones is getting long in the tooth, and Bill's, that's...
He's been long in the tooth for the last 20 years.
Mike McCarthy cannot afford to lose to Green Bay today. He has to win this game. I'm just saying he has to at least get to the NFC Championship, or you could see a change there.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, Nick Sirianni, 10 weeks ago, was one of the top coaches in the league. He took his team to the Super Bowl last year, was a couple of plays away from winning it all, and now they're talking about him being, if they lose to Tampa Bay on Monday night, he could be out.
They're on the road, which is shocking.
And guess who the defensive coordinator is there? The pencil. So he's already got Matt Patricia in there. So that's a possible destination.
Make new friends.
These are just
make new friends.
I'm just throwing crazy stuff out right now because it's fun to talk about.
I got the craziest.
And I've got one more.
Okay.
The Buffalo Bills.
No.
And I'm only saying that because if Sean McDermott...
Because his name's Bill?
If Sean McDermott has an early exit, I'm just saying, listen, there's a lot of things that can happen. If they lose to Pittsburgh, McDermott could be gone. And don't forget, this would be like Ed Cooley to Georgetown all over again. Don't come in my own division. I don't want to see you do it to me, okay?
True.
Yeah, at least like to be kissed first. You know what I mean? Before I'm just saying. So I'm just... listen, Buffalo, don't forget, in the division, you'd have to see him twice a year. That I would hate to see that one. That would be the longest of long shots. But I just thought I'd throw that out there. I'm playing fantasy ball right now, having some fun.
Well, what about this? Tom Brady looking at buying a piece of the Raiders, correct?
Yeah.
And they fired their head coach. So they have an interim coach right now.
And I think PS deserves it. But go ahead. Yeah.
What if
Tom
Brady and Bill Belichick work together again, and he's the Raiders head coach?
And what's Brady's role? GM?
Yeah.
What, Brady's shopping for the groceries?
I don't know.
All right. Okay.
Come on.
No, listen.
That's fun.
Yeah,
that's probably never going to happen.
See,
but it's like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick together again in,
Seeing that I've been talking
Vegas.
irrationally the last 5 minutes, I don't see why not. Let's just see what happens. But I think Antonio PS has done a nice job with Vegas. But again, these teams are going to see a lot of stuff happen. And I thought Mike Vrabel was going to be the next guy up in New England. So now he's going to be, he's out there. There's, potential jobs for him. Chargers. There's a lot of different jobs. You got like 8 vacancies. Don't forget, I haven't even mentioned Carolina. I don't see that for Belichick.
No.
I see him going to a ready-made team at 72, a team that's already good, and he can take them over the hump. He can get his Shula wins, get to where he needs to go. And of course, he'd love to win a Super Bowl without Tom. You're talking about him teaming up with Tom, but I think he'd like to win one. The book's already been written. If he wins one, he still didn't do it in New England without Brady.
True. All right. Here's the last thing I'm going to say about Bill. Do you think he's responsible for his own demise? Let's just think about it. He knew Tom Brady was leaving. Did he go out and try and get a quarterback? He was just like, we can win with anybody. Let's bring in Cam Newton. Okay. He could have kept Jacoby Myers. He could have offered D-Hop some money.
Mm-hmm.
He could have done more to make the team better. Instead, he was like slashing prices and just like, he knew Mac Jones, who was, iffy. His go-to guy was Jacoby Myers. Jacoby had a great season with the Raiders.
Yes.
And he specifically took him from him and then, was just like, I don't know who you're going to play with. I feel like he could have done more to save this team, and he was just like,
Well, you're talking about some of the things this season, letting Myers go, bringing in Schuster, 263 yards
right,
receiving.
You could have had D-Hop.
I'm going to take this back 4 years ago, and you mentioned when Tom left. I think it starts right there, and it's clear that Bill Belichick does not value the quarterback position the way he should, the way an elite head coach. And you're talking about the greatest coach, arguably the greatest coach of all time, does not value either offensive football, or he thinks he can just plug anybody in at the QB position. But
He's picking kickers.
You found out very quickly
doing?
that
Get rid of Folk.
I chalked the Cam Newton year out. It was the COVID year. I just give him a pass on that one. I don't care. But Mac Jones, don't forget development. First year 10-7, looked like you had your quarterback for the next 10 years, and then of course you saw the downward spiral, and of course bringing coordinator after coordinator in.
Right.
McDaniels. The next year you went with Judge and the pencil teamed up. That didn't work. And of course, Bill O'Brien this year, a proven guy, did not get it done. And then this is where, we hop back to preseason when we had Dan Copen on the show. A former center. He played for Bill, a big Brady guy. You're not going to see him say much negative, but I think he thought that maybe I was a little bit negative before they even played a game. And I said, does O'Brien help that much? There's really no playmakers there. Yeah, he brings credibility. And I mean, here we are, 20 weeks later, and it's a 4-13 finish. I hate to say I was right, but I was right.
You were right. And we'll copy that clip and highlight it.
Oh, wow. We're highlighting clips now.
Highlighting clips. All right, so now let's get rid of the fun music. Let's talk Gerard Mayo. He's our new head coach. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about not even bothering to do an interview process, not even checking what's out on the market, just write into his contract, be like, you are the next head coach? I've never seen this before.
By the way, to put Bill to bed for a second, did you notice that they could have played hardball? And I know, listen, we talk about how he said they're mutually moving on. He's still going to get his money, probably $25 million for the whatever, he still had a year left on his deal.
Yeah.
But obviously Kraft could have played hardball and waited for him to land somewhere and then try to get compensation. We could have got something for him. And he decided not to do that. He said it was a bad look. He didn't want to do that. So obviously, maybe Kraft's worried about perception or what everyone thinks rather than the cutthroat part of the business where you could have got a 3rd or 4th round pick for Belichick as compensation. But
True.
That's by the boards. The new guy, Gerard Mayo. I like Mayo. I have no problem with Mayo. He's a player here from 2008 to 2015, a solid linebacker and a good team guy. And
Super Bowl winner.
I think
he won one.
Not as a player. No,
Really?
He missed it. And that was the in-between the dynasty, like when they had the 10 years of the lull. No, he didn't.
No.
Yeah, he was
that's not good for him.
He was on the team that lost to the Giants. On the 15 team, I believe actually, you know what? He does have a ring. I think it was maybe the Seattle year, and he got hurt that year and didn't play the rest of the year, so he didn't
But he's
participate.
still on the team.
Yeah, he got hardware. So,
all right.
So
That's fine.
we'll give it to him. But listen, I like Gerard Mayo, and of course, the 15th coach in Patriot history. It just wasn't my selection. And it was, of course, I liked Mike Vrabel. He said it all season, and just to see him get fired the week that
I
Bill
know, the
leaves, I'm like,
timing.
this is lining up. He's bringing Derrick Henry. Let's do this. Let's run it. And now Mayo's the guy. And listen, I heard he can be tough with some players, so I like to hear that.
Right.
But I think he has the respect of the players in the locker room, and of course, definitely from Jonathan Kraft and Bob Kraft. So it looks like we're going to go forward with this and see how it goes. He's the guy.
He is the guy. 37 years old. I feel good about that.
Love
That's
the
a positive.
Youth. Love the youth.
I played football with him, just so you know.
Oh,
With Teddy Bruschi.
drops over here. Big time.
I'm looking for I can't find it on my phone right now, but Nick from Hot 106.
Is that where he played flag football? Was Brian Hoyer in that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, then he'd throw the ball too hard or something. He's lame.
He was a punk, by the way. Anyway, I say I wanted Vrabel as well, but I like the fact that the Crafts didn't go back on their word, which they could have, and that would have been a hot mess and lawsuits galore, I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
But I like that they said, this is what we're going to do. We're doing it. And maybe, if the players want to play for him, there was a lot of internal talk saying that, like, the kids are younger now. They didn't really relate with Bill, and they related with him better, maybe because he's closer to age. And I don't know, maybe he can get it going. If he can get a quarterback, maybe do some offensive plays so we can actually have an offense. That would be nice.
I just feel like Vrabel had more. He had more. He was more established. He's done it already. Where Mayo hasn't proved that yet. Right. So it's obviously like what's going to.
Yeah, but look at the Houston Texans.
All right, so you're right. D'Amico Ryans had never been a head coach, but he had been an assistant all over the place for a while. All right, so and it's worked. And it helps when you knock it out of the park with your number 2 pick and C.J. Stroud's a stud.
We got a number 3 pick.
No, it's true. It's true. And so, listen, a lot of things can happen. And of course, the Pats, as you just said, they do hold the 3rd pick in the draft. They can't afford to whiff on it. They have to bring a GM in, which is going to be interesting. Who's that going to be?
Isn't that weird that they announced Mayo before the GM? Like, don't you think in the roles of, like, a hierarchy, you GM, then you do
I think they know the clock's always ticking. You saw Vrabel is a lot of vacancies. You have to line it up quicker. You want to do your due diligence and do your search. But with the Patriots, there was no search, so there was no need to. There was rumors. Vrabel. There was rumors of Brian Flores, who was the defensive coordinator, and he had that problem with the league. He sued the league, the race issues, and all that. So there was a lot there. So Mayo is the guy, 37 years old, and my concern is I don't see free agents saying. I don't feel like New England's a destination. What gets us back to being a place where I want to go there? What makes you want to go there? And I don't know if Gerard has that cachet. He has not established yet. It's not his fault, but this is what you get. But like you said, young, energetic, and I think he's going to do a good job. I'm just hoping that things can turn around. After 4-13, it can only go up, I hope.
I would hope so. Yeah. I mean, at least break 800, which I hate to be that person that says, like, we win all these Super Bowls and be like, hey, we made it 8-8, great. Like, that's not a good thing.
No, I think I mentioned this on our short segment Friday on Pro FM, but I'm going to say it again, and I mentioned this to you. Didn't you think it was odd as you and I talked about the trade deadline for the Patriots season? Listen, one move, one trade wasn't going to turn their season around. Kendrick Bourne was a guy you could have moved because he had some value, but he tore his ACL the game right before the trade deadline. My point was we thought there was going to be some movement on guys like maybe Kyle Duggar, Josh Uche, guys that have had some good years on the defensive side of the ball. Nobody's going to want anybody on our offensive side of the ball.
No.
But I thought that at least those guys, if you weren't going to trade them, at least give them extensions. Yeah, those guys pay somebody and build it and extend any of those guys, which leads me to believe, watch out, wherever Bill lands, look for him to fleece, what is decent on our Patriot roster. He can't touch Judon or Gonzalez because they're contractually staying with the Patriots. Gonzalez is a rookie. He's got his rookie deal, and Judon's got a long-term deal. But look for him to look for a guy like a Duggar or an Uche, somebody like that, maybe an Anthony Jennings. There's some guys on that roster that could really help a team. And Bill, usually you see that with coaches. They take guys with them. So it's going to be interesting to see where Bill lands. It's going to be interesting these couple of weeks as we enjoy the playoffs, and then we go forward.
All right, fantastic. Do you want to put a bow on the Bill Mayo talk and get into the wild card weekend?
A lot of emotions.
There's a lot going on. All right, so let's make some picks here. All right, playing today, which, by the way, I did end up buying Peacock. I don't want to talk about it. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
Pittsburgh at Buffalo. Buffalo giving them 10. I feel good about Buffalo as long as, Josh Allen can still run, and I don't know. Pittsburgh surprised me multiple games this year with wins that I didn't see coming at all.
Yeah.
But I feel like Rudolph is not going to get it done, and Buffalo's going to win.
Now, of course, 2 years ago, I believe it was that heartbreaker that Buffalo lost in Kansas City.
Yes.
But wasn't it last year they lost at home? Maybe it was Cincinnati and it was snowing. And I'm saying to myself, isn't this supposed to be the advantage for Buffalo? You're up in Orchard Park. You've been doing this for years. This is supposed to be your advantage. But a lot of people are talking about, the weather could be a factor. Well, I mean, Pittsburgh plays in that weather, and so does Buffalo. So
Steven.
Take that out of the equation. They've been running it with James Cook, 1,100 yards on the season. Josh Allen, you just don't know as far as when it comes time for turnovers. You know that he does a lot of good things, but there's the turnovers. If he can take care of the football, I don't see how Pittsburgh can combat him. Obviously, Pittsburgh's going to be without T.J. Watt, the potential defensive player of the year in the AFC or in the NFL. He's out for this game and probably done for the playoffs. Mason Rudolph's done a nice job. He got them into the playoffs. Mike Tomlin, 17 years in Pittsburgh, never had a losing season. I think he'll have them competitive in the game, but I just don't think they have the horses and they don't have the weapons to beat the Buffalo. I'm going to take the Bills in this game.
All right, very good. Green Bay at Dallas. Dallas giving them 7. If Dallas loses, everybody just blow up the stadium because Jerry Jones is going to kill somebody.
Belichick to Dallas?
Well, that would be it.
Well,
that would be sign it right there.
Mike McCarthy, 3 straight seasons, 12 wins.
Okay.
So, yeah, we love that. But it's like you telling me with the Bruins, just talk to me when we get to the playoffs. The same thing, Celtics, just get to the playoffs. I don't want to hear about this regular season thing. Win in the postseason.
Yeah.
This is their time right now. Prescott had a monster season. C.D. Lamb was phenomenal. Micah Parsons, 14 sacks. He's talking smack, and he backs it up. I think Dallas wins, even though I love what Jordan Love's done the last 6-2 in the last 8 games, 18 touchdowns, 1 interception during that span. He pretty much willed his team into the playoffs. And look for Aaron Jones, a steady dose of Aaron Jones. They're gonna have some creative offense to make sure he runs the ball, and they have plays set up where he's running away from Parsons, because that's a smart thing to do.
I do believe LaFleur knows how to call some plays. Young coach, by the way. So
it's a must win for Dallas, and I think it's gravy for Green Bay. If you told me 8 weeks ago they were going to be a playoff team, I would have said you were crazy. They did a nice little story just to get in after getting rid of Aaron Rodgers. It seems like it's worked out for Green Bay.
And who's the defender that has all the pick sixes on Dallas? It begins with a C.
Bland.
Bland, not Bland.
Well, you know what? They're gonna keep. He's gonna be a key guy because Steph Gilmore got hurt in the last week of the season, so he's kind of questionable. He's banged up at least. So Dallas has got a couple of injuries, but everybody's banged up at this point. It's gonna be interesting to see how this one plays out. But I will take Dallas. I think Green Bay's gonna keep it close for a while.
Definitely. All right, we got the Rams at Detroit. Detroit giving the Rams 3. Rams have been looking very impressive. Nakua, Kupp is like actually an afterthought with Nakua. That's all Stafford throws to.
And of course, last week you saw Carson Wentz off the milk carton play that last game, but Nakua got his rookie record for receiving yards over 1,400. He's been terrific this year, but they're running the ball with Kyron Williams, and I think they're going to run it right at Detroit. And of course, this is the big matchup. First time they're playing each other, especially in the postseason. The quarterbacks that were traded for each other,
right.
And of course, you've got Jared Goff went from the Rams to Detroit. It worked out for Stafford. He won a Super Bowl with the Rams, but they're playing really well now under Sean McVay. McVay already announced he's coming back next season. He's a terrific head coach. And I don't know, we're going to talk about Godson's picks in a little bit. I thought this was like I was going out on a limb here, but I don't think it's a real stretch. I am going to take the Rams on the road in this game. I think Soup Campbell's had a great season, but I think that they're a year away from being like a Super Bowl contender. I'm going to take the Rams on the road.
Wow. All right. And then finally, tomorrow's game, Philly at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay getting 3 points. Philly, I don't know what that team's about anymore. They're just like standard, average, embarrassing.
Maybe I like Nick Sirianni because he's Paisan, he's Italian, he's from the old country. His family, the roots are from Italy. But they're in trouble because Jalen Hurts hasn't practiced all week, or he hasn't been able to throw the football. His middle finger, he's really, really hurt.
Yep.
And I just don't know how you can win games if you can't throw the football. I know he can run it, but they can only do the little scooch thing or whatever you want to call it. The tush push. That's only going to you got to get to the goal line to do that. By the way.
Who's their backup quarterback? Not that they would actually...
The immortal Marcus Mariota.
Oh, no! I didn't think he still played.
You said that, but he got run last week. I thought of you because I know you watched the documentary. But they're in trouble. Listen, Philly, 10-1 start. They tried to win that last game of the season versus the Giants and couldn't.
I know.
So a 1-5 finish. I don't know. A lot of people, I saw some experts. There was a panel of 5 guys that really know what they're talking about. Every guy had Tampa Bay. And think about Tampa Bay.
Like straight up?
Tampa Bay to win the game. To win the game. At home, Mike Evans, he catches balls from whatever quarterback throws it to him.
Yeah.
Brady, Jameis Winston, Baker Mayfield. Don't forget, Tampa won the division, but they struggled in the last week versus Carolina to win. Would they win 9-0?
Yes, it was all kicks.
That's how bad Philly's playing right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to defer to you and our producer of YouTube on this one.
Are you paying attention there, Steve? Are you going Philly or Tampa Bay? Yeah, it is.
That's why I deferred. Always know your number could get punched. That's why I don't know if you were texting your chick or whatever you were doing over there, but I caught you on the phone. You better be have Google and Phillies.
This is a very captivating show, Steve.
Because Philly's been going down, I think Tampa might pull it off.
Tampa Bay, holy moly.
It's a gravy. Listen, you lost Brady. You still won the division. Mayfield's going to get paid somewhere. I don't know where. Could be New England. Yeah, I know you do. He's had a nice year. He's been battling that rib injury. I just can't believe Philly's fallen off this much. And I'm not going to blame the pencil because I know Matt Patricia took over midseason as the defensive coordinator. Their secondary has been awful. They got the kid Bayard from Tennessee. They're saying Darius Slay could be back in this game, but they've just fallen off. The kid Reddick, their defensive players, I don't know what happened to that team. They just fell from grace. race. It's unbelievable that Sirianni could be out. They're calling for his head already if they lose this game.
Well, absolutely. But, I mean, you also have to remember, like you said, if Hurts is hurt,
He's
that's
hurt,
not going to be great.
Sirianni was a couple of plays away from winning that Super Bowl last year. That could have went either way against Kansas City. So it's going to be interesting to see. But, wow, if Tampa wins that one.
Well, let's see.
Let's go! Football! Godson's Games of the Week.
All right, let's see what Godson has selected. By the way, 2 weeks in a row, perfect parlays.
He's back.
He is back, and he's going hardcore. So this is what he has selected. Dallas, -7. The Rams, he's on board with you, +3. And he is going Tampa, +3. So if you want to do a parlay, Godson's Games of the Week, by the way, he's been perfect for the last 2 weeks. Dallas -7, Rams +3, Tampa +3.
And by the way, Jess, we don't talk a ton of college football on this show, but I got to say, he threw that into his little parlay last week by taking Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. Congratulations, their first national championship since 1997, the third in the history of the program. And it's going to be interesting as we talk about these coaching searches. He's going to kick back and enjoy himself for a little bit, but he can pretty much write his ticket. I still believe in his heart of hearts that now he's got his college championship. He wants that he wants that Lombardi trophy in the NFL.
Think?
I hope he stays in college because I think it's great for the college game, especially after Saban left Alabama the other day. So So I mean, he beat them in that epic game at the Rose Bowl, which one of my 10 and Sunday players was attended that game at the Rose Bowl. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So it's going to be interesting to see what Harbaugh does. Maybe he'll be the guy that all the dominoes will fall after him and Bill. Those will be the big names. But it's really nice to see that they laid the wood to Washington. And I love the kid Penix for potential Patriot quarterback, but he didn't have his finest moment in that finest game. He missed some open receivers. It looked like he was playing a little banged up, but it was a good pick by Godsons. He's hot again.
Yeah, he is. He's on the streak. All right, so we're going to talk. That's wrapping up the NFL, and we did have a lot to talk about. We're going to go to the NBA, but we're going to thank our sponsors first.
Keeping score with Jess and Dean the Dream, sponsored by
Generations Adult Day Health Center. Generations is a day facility in Smithfield that provides services to meet the needs of adults with disabilities and the elderly. Their staff provides a range of adult day health services, such as case management, nursing, healthcare, nutrition, and more. At Generations, you're taken care of with registered nurses, certified nursing assistants, and plenty of direct care support staff on the floors at all times. With nearly 30,000 square feet of space, the state-of-the-art facility includes an open dining room, spacious physical and occupational therapy suites, a fully equipped gym and exercise room, and a TV movie theater, just to name a few. To find out more, visit generationsri.com. That's generationsri.com. Prout Mechanical in Providence, a family-owned and operated business. They provide HVAC installations, replacements, and maintenance services. They also offer indoor quality services to make sure that your home remains healthy and safe. They have licensed and trained technicians to keep up with industry standards and technology. They're also an authorized Mitsubishi Electric Diamond Elite contractor, so they can provide the best heating and cooling solutions. So get in touch with them today. Visit ProutHVAC.com. That's ProutHVAC.com, or call them at 487-4343 for a free estimate. All right, getting right to the NBA. The Celtics, very impressive overtime win, and then completely not impressive loss to the Bucks. So what do you got going on there?
I'm just trying to figure out how a team or any team goes on a 25-0 run. I don't know. They didn't throw it in the ocean.
Was there anybody on the floor?
I was working. I hope Joe called a timeout in there somewhere. I don't know.
Probably not.
Between the Greek Freak and Bobby Portis had a big game for Milwaukee. Listen, that's the whole back-to-back thing. The Celtics played at home, a grueling game versus Minnesota on Wednesday night. Overtime, they had to pull it out. They were down 7 with 2 minutes to go. Tatum, I know he didn't hit the shot in regulation, but of course took over in overtime, finished with 45. Jaylen Brown finished with 35. They combined for 80. The Celtics is still 18-0 at home, have not lost a home game this season.
Mindy from PJ's was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she had good seats, too.
Taking it in, huh?
She was, yeah.
She's doing all right, huh?
She did okay. That was her first Celtics game, so we're happy for her.
Oh,
okay.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
Celtics at 29-8 is still doing, having a great season so far. So almost halfway through the season, pretty good at 29-8. Not much to complain about. I will say this, Jess. There was a game earlier in the week. I think it was Monday night versus Indiana, where the Celtics, again, as you keep saying, the third quarter, they were up 12. Next thing you know, they're down 8. I don't get it. And the thing was, they played down to the competition. Rick Carlisle's got a nice team in Indiana, but of course, their best player, Tyrese Halliburton, had an injury before the half. half, didn't come out for the second half. The Celtics didn't take advantage of it, and Indiana went on to win this game. But I got to say, I am so distraught about this replay thing, because I don't know if you saw the end of this game. But Jaylen Brown got hit in the back of the head with like 3 seconds. That was like in the corner. I don't know if it was a 3-point shot or a 2. Either way, he got fouled.
Yeah.
They went to the replay. I'm under the impression that with replay, the only way you're going to get it overturned when you go to the monitor is if there's absolutely no contact. And I don't care if he got hit in the head and it didn't affect him missing the shot. He was still hit.
Right.
So how did that get overturned? And then
investigate.
And then he goes to the line, makes the free. He doesn't make the free throws because there were no free throws.
Yeah,
so that got wiped out. And then they come down the other end, and Porzingis gets called for a foul pretty much at the buzzer.
He did foul him, though.
He did foul Mather. And so, but if I'm the official, maybe I'm swallowing the whistle there, and it's like, even Steven. I'm just saying.
I know, but at a home game
but that's a sucky way to lose a basketball game.
I agree.
There's a lot at stake. These games are big here. You're all for posturing, for seeding in the playoffs. But I just thought that was unfair. You saw he clearly was hitting the back of the head. So what were they looking at the monitor?
I don't know.
So now I'm starting to question the replay system. That first of all, they take so long, they're killing the flow of the game.
Yeah, it's true.
But I know you want to see them get it right. And of course, with 3 seconds left, it's an important play. But to go to it, I don't know what they were looking at. I'm the one that's got glasses on and I still can't see, but I don't know what they were looking at. I was just disappointed to see that. So now at this point with replay, I'm throwing my hands up in the air. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. And I understand. Was there any? I know that both Missoula and Brown said they wanted it to be investigated. Was there any fines towards them because of them questioning the process? Or
I don't believe so. It's funny you say that. The Toronto Raptors coach the other night, he's a Russian coach. He's new.
Yeah.
And he's doing a nice job trying to piece it together. They just made that big trade with the Knicks. But I guess the game against the Lakers the other night, they lost 132-131. And I guess the Lakers shot like 23 free throws to Toronto's 2. Just in the fourth quarter, and he just went on a tirade. He got fined 25 G's for it the next day. He went off. I didn't. He speaks a little bit, bro. I didn't understand what he was saying, but he wasn't happy. There was some slurs. Yeah, he was not happy. He was talking about fate. He was basically trying to say, I get it. LeBron and Anthony Davis, they're stars, but like, come on, our guys are fighting too. So that was that. But you jump around the league, Jess. Emi Udoka's doing a nice job in Houston. 18 and 18 right now, 500 with a young team. They did pick up Fred VanVleet in free agency. He's averaging
I like him.
He's averaging 17 and a half a game. He's a leader for that team. But Udoka flat out can coach. He's got a young team there. I think he's ahead of schedule. So he's sort of my story of the week. And the Memphis Grizzlies, their season's pretty much in the tank now at 14 and 23. John Moran, who had all that gun stuff and suspended, comes back. He was lighting it up. Torn labrum in his shoulder, will have surgery done for the season.
Yep.
Marcus Smart stepped up, averaging 14 and a half a game. He's out after missing 5 weeks earlier in the season. He will miss 6 more weeks with a finger injury. He just can't stay healthy.
If he has a finger injury, is he going to perform his own surgery and tell the surgeon just like to sit down and
That's a lot.
He's just going to do it.
He's going to check in on him.
He's just going to take over. That's fine.
It's pretty much his show.
Yeah, well, that's true. He's like, don't worry, I got it. Give me the needle. I'll numb it.
But I know you always ask about the Lakers because they're relevant. LeBron, everything.
And then you got to think time is a ticking for that guy.
Yeah, 19 and 20 the Lakers, and they got smoked at home by Phoenix on Thursday night. And that big three finally came through for Phoenix with Bradley Beal, 37 points, 20 in the third quarter. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, that threesome really lit it up in that game. I think they combined for almost 90 points. So.
It just makes me. It's so funny to see how hot a team can be and then how dead they can be like the next game. And I get it. It's a lot of you're throwing it all out there. But I will say this, and it's concerning to me, and I know you mentioned it at the top of the NBA segment. I'm telling you right now, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, when it comes down to a last-second shot to win a game, they're not doing it. They're not going to get it. He's every single time. Like, why is that?
I remember the old 2000, early 2000 teams. It was Paul Pierce who would be the guy who would, isolation, one-on-one, and he came through a lot with those, those buzzer beaters or at the buzzer, close to the buzzer. And it just seems like those two guys, and it always seems like it's a jumper that doesn't have to be a long jumper.
Right.
It always seems like they settle every single time.
Because they just want to walk away and do the three thing. And I get it. You're very talented.
Yeah.
Definitely up for MVP. But you win a game, and I haven't seen him do that yet, unless, I'm talking just for that last second, that buzzer beater. That's what you think. That's what you practice. I played basketball forever. 3, 2, 1, I stick it. Yeah, they don't stick it.
Yeah.
So
Celtics are still looking to upgrade. Stevens is still looking for a big man and maybe a wing scorer, so stay tuned for that.
All right. So do we have anything else in the NBA, or do you want to get to a quick hot stove?
We got a lot to still talk about.
Yeah, I know. We got 20 minutes left,
Wow.
Let's go. Obviously, I have no audio for baseball because I don't know what's going on because I was fully enthralled in football.
Quiet week, Jess. Actually, your Yankees made a couple of moves. The big blockbuster of the offseason was the trade for Juan Soto, an elite player, only 25 years old. He's in the prime of his career. Can the Yankees re-sign him? We're going to find out. But for now, to avoid arbitration, he gets a one-year deal for $31 million.
Oh,
okay,
that's
so
all right.
here's a guy who's led the league in walks the last 3 years. He's disciplined at the plate. He's an elite hitter. He's a decent defensive outfielder, but he's a terrific ball player. Juan Soto will be with the Yankees, at least for this upcoming season,
I'll take what I can
2024.
get. Yeah.
But late Thursday night, the Yankees did make an addition to their rotation by signing former Cubs starter Marcus Stroman to a 2-year, $37.5 million deal. Stroman's 32 years old, 3.95 ERA last year, but before an injury that happened around the All-Star break, he did make the All-Star team for the Cubs. He had an ERA under 3, like 2.6 before the injury. He's 77 and 76 for his career with a 3.65 ERA. He's a two-time All-Star. And this is another move where it seemed like the Red Sox missed out because Breslow was in Chicago in their front office the last couple of years working, and he had ties to Stroman, and the Red Sox were interested in Marcus Stroman. I remember his early years with the Toronto Blue Jays pitching in the American League East, and there's something you're gonna think's interesting about him when you see him. You don't see many diminutive pitchers. You see the Chris Sales, the 6'4", 6'5".
Tall.
This kid's like 5'8", on his best day, 5'9", maybe. Came out as, I think he went to St. John's in college or Duke. Went to one of those schools, and he was a good college pitcher. But you don't see pitchers on usually 6 feet. Usually they're going to be at least 5'11", 6 feet. This very small. Those guys usually, they say, don't hold up. And he's had injury history, but he's definitely a guy that you put him in that rotation under Garrett Cole, hoping the Rodon comes back and has a bounce-back season. He's definitely going to be a nice addition to that rotation. He's an ERA guy. Every year when he's healthy, he keeps his teams in the game. So I think that you're going to like that move for the New York Yankees. My only reservation about it was when I looked into it, his ERA is a little bit over 6 in his 11 starts career at Yankee Stadium. But I think they'll fix that. So keep the ball down. Keep the ball down, Marcus. But a good addition for the Yankees.
Hey, did I hear that your boy Bloom got hired somewhere?
The Cardinals.
Oh!
Yeah, but obviously...
Who would do that, by the way?
Obviously he's not running the show. He's in a little bit of more of a background.
But still.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, good for him.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Looks like so far we've got Bloom Jr. right now, but no, it's in Boston. But it seems like the Red Sox have whiffed like all over the place. It's just they act like they're trying to spend money. I don't really know how authentic that is, but there's still guys out there. They're not going to go for Cody Bellinger. Blake Snell, the Cy Young Award winner, is still out there. The Yankees were in on him, but they thought that he was a little bit pricey, and of course he's had some good years, the 2 Cy Young seasons, but he's had some off seasons, so maybe he's a little bit of a gamble.
All right. Anything else in hot stove before we get to the NHL? Which again, I have no clips because I was fully enthralled in football.
I respect it.
So the Bruins, unlike the Celtics, did not win in overtime this week against the Vegas Golden Knights, which. Listen, they are the Stanley Cup winners, so it's not a bad thing to lose to them. However, what's going on with overtime, and why can't we pull these games off?
They're losing a lot of games in overtime. And you look at the record, everyone, it's still 24-8. Yeah, but you've had 9 overtime losses. I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot of L's. You still get the point. I hate the point system in the NHL as it is. But the Bruins fought hard in this game. They're in every game, and they got some guys banged up. Olmark got hurt earlier in the week. They had a game where they lost Olmark, Brandon Carlo, and Matt Petra. So they lost 3 guys in one game, so they're a little bit thin right now. But, of course, Swayman stepped up, 23 saves. Bruins tied this game in the third period with a Matt Grzelcyk goal. He hadn't scored in like 20 games, but, of course, Jack Eichel's Boston native. He scored earlier in the game, and Alex Pietrangelo with the overtime goal. And the Vegas Knights, who have been struggling themselves, but as you said, are the Stanley Cup champs. So the Bruins just can't win late. It just seems like they're struggling in overtime, but still at 24-8, good things ahead. And one note,
Marchand has had a pretty decent week. He's scoring a bunch of goals this week.
He's been fine. One other note, I mentioned it before, I think on last week's show about the All-Star game and how Connor Bedard, he's the kid from the Blackhawks, #1 pick. He's still 18 years old.
Yeah, crazy.
15 goals, 18 assists. Unfortunately, will not play in the All-Star game. He's out with a broken jaw for 8 weeks.
Oh, my God.
6 to 8 weeks. So that's not good news, but he'll be okay. Young player who's been, the next possible face of the league.
What do you do? Well, now a broken jaw face.
I had that in high school, and it's you're on a liquid diet pretty much. They wire your jaw shut. You gotta.
How?
That straw. My mother would put everything in blenders, and it's brutal.
But what are they sewing? Your teeth?
Yeah, I guess they just to make the jaw heal. I went through it for 6 weeks.
Oh God! Yeah. How did you break it?
It's a long story. Let's just say this: it wasn't a fight. It was more of a sucker punch. It was like when my head turned. So,
that's nice.
Yeah.
Do we want to shout out that person that did that?
No.
All right, let's get to birthday. Go ahead.
No, and I just now I'm like I kind of have a little bit of a recollection, just remembering just how brutal it was, just to that be on a liquid diet like that.
Then you wouldn't be able to talk.
You'd have to do goose through the straw. It's difficult. Trust me.
Are they talking like this?
Mom, my mother did everything she could to keep the weight on me so I wouldn't lose that much weight. And it was right before baseball season, my senior year, at the pitch for I was the number 2 pitcher on the baseball team.
Where?
Oh.
Throwing curveballs.
There it is. Very good.
Yeah, I wasn't throwing anything then. But,
no, God.
Got
that's
through it.
terrible.
I got through it. I came out the other side of it. Yeah.
Well,
thank God it's not the end of the show. I didn't.
We're still here.
It's a tough injury, and I'm just saying, even in baseball, my mother didn't want me going back for my senior year to play the second half of the baseball season. I just forged the signature. I'm going back. I'm going to practice today. Obviously, my coach never wanted to put me in because he was afraid I was going to get hit with a line drive.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you protect yourself, and I was okay with it. But hockey with Bedard, obviously they wear stuff on they wear the masks. But I mean, it's a brutal game. You could get one elbow, one
shoulder,
a puck, anything. Yeah. And at the time, the doctor said he goes, the next time if you get anything there, you hit again, they'll have to cut from the outside. They'll have to
Okay.
So it's a lot.
I'm getting weak now. All right. We're gonna. Do you have anything else to add before I pass out? I'm gonna have a glass of water. We're thanking our sponsors.
No, don't pass out. I would have to drive the show a host.
Well, forget it. We're gonna thank our Steve can do it. He knows how to hit the buttons. There we go.
Keeping score with Jess and Dean the Dream, sponsored by
Generations Adult Day Health Center. Generations is a day facility in Smithfield that provides services to meet the needs of adults with disabilities and the elderly. Their staff provides a range of adult day health services, such as case management, nursing, healthcare, nutrition, and more. At Generations, you're taken care of with registered nurses, certified nursing assistants, and plenty of direct care support staff on the floors at all times. With nearly 30,000 square feet of space, the state-of-the-art facility includes an open dining room, spacious physical and occupational therapy suites, a fully equipped gym and exercise room, and a TV movie theater, just to name a few. To find out more, visit generationsri.com. That's generationsri.com. Prout Mechanical in Providence, a family-owned and operated business. They provide HVAC installations, replacements, and maintenance services. They also offer indoor quality services to make sure that your home remains healthy and safe. They have licensed and trained technicians to keep up with industry standards and technology. They're also an authorized Mitsubishi Electric Diamond Elite contractor, so they can provide the best heating and cooling solutions. So get in touch with them today. Visit ProutHVAC.com. That's ProutHVAC.com, or call them at 487-4343 for a free estimate. It is Sunday. Wow. It is Sunday, January 14th. What do we got for birthdays?
Yeah, not much on the sports side. DeAndre Swift is 25. He's the kid playing, obviously, playoffs. Detroit Lions.
Yep.
But now with Philadelphia, 1,000 yards this year for the first time in 4 seasons. Played his college football at Georgia. He is 25 years old.
Wow.
Byron Leftwich, former quarterback, went to Marshall, played in the NFL for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is 43 years old. The reason why I mention him is, if you remember a few years ago, he's tied to Tom Brady. He was Brady's offensive coordinator and quarterback coach in Tampa when he went to the to the Buccaneers. So obviously, Super Bowl champ as an offensive coordinator and quarterback coach with TB12. Those are my sports guys.
Okay.
On the entertainment side,
Let's go.
LL Cool J is 56.
Oh, ladies love him.
Rapper, terrific. Don't call it a comeback.
Yeah.
And of course, NCIS at Los Angeles, a really good show that lasted for about a decade. It just went off. I think
and he
it's
rang
done.
in the new year with us when we were at PJ. Well, he wasn't at PJ's Pub, but he was performing.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's still got it.
No, he's terrific. How about
Know what his real name is?
If you say no, I don't know, but say it and I'll go ahead.
Todd.
No, I didn't know that. What? Todd what? Just Todd?
I don't know.
Okay.
Do you need much more than just Todd?
Stick with LL Cool J, I guess. All right. How about this one? Carl Weathers is 76. Apollo Creed.
Yes, I love it.
Rocky 1, 2, and
He's
3.
looking at Steve to make sure, you know what Rocky is,
and
right?
if you want to reach Happy Gilmore, or was it Billy Madison? He was in one of the.
No, it was Happy Gilmore when he lost his hand.
And he died in the movie, didn't he? All right, keep it happy, keep happy
what
thoughts.
was his name? Chubbs? What was his name in the movie? I think I gotta look
I'll
it
be
up.
honest with you, obviously, death is part of watching classic movies, but when he died in Rocky 3, and Drago said if he dies, he dies. I didn't like that.
No.
That was awful. No, because I loved Apollo. He was great.
Yeah,
he
Chubbs.
He looks great, too.
Yeah, he does.
Chubbs?
Yeah, his name was Chubbs in Happy Gilmore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Talking Chubbs over here.
Yeah, well, I'm just...
All right, and...
That's it.
What?
Never mind.
Too much class.
Wait.
Too much
We got
class.
10 minutes.
Too much class for that one. I'm not touching that one. Well, somebody is. All right. So
This is going to get us in trouble.
Stop it. All right, me.
First of all, I said Chubbs. Anyway, go.
All right. One of my favorite comedic actors who's proven in recent years to be more than that with some serious roles, but I love Jason Bateman. He is 55.
Oh, my God. He's my favorite.
Okay. Ozark, Netflix classic,
Arrested
one of the first
Development.
shows. Yep, and of course, Horrible Bosses, Starsky and Hutch, The Breakup. I'm a big
Game Night.
I'm a big Jason Bateman fan. He is 55 years
Office
old.
Party, Christmas Office Party.
No, he's terrific. I love him. I think he just gets better with age. I love Bateman, and those are my birthdays for January 14th.
I love him. And by the way, it's James Todd is LL Cool J's real name. Anyway.
Oh, so Todd's the last name.
No, James, hold on. It's James Todd Smith. Anything with Todd in it is very odd. All right, let's get to some local stuff. PC had a tough week. I got a little audio from that.
Friars will have an opportunity, Joe, here to win it.
Well, they got to get the rebound here. If he misses, you got to make sure you get the rebound.
If he makes it, it's a 2-point game. 6.7 seconds left. Second shot, no good. Rebound. St. John's got it. Lewis pulled it away from Carter on the left wing. Oh, my goodness.
That's huge.
It's 75-73. Friars could win it with a three. Pierre on the right side, drives to the right, crosses to the middle. Deep three on the way, short at the buzzer, and St. John's survives.
Man, what a game by the Friars. I mean, that was a good game by St. John's, but they got the benefit of the doubt on that last call for sure. Friars had a shot to win the game.
And it just came up short. And St. John's wins.
Well, I mean, the thing is they had to fight back the entire game because they were down by so much. No wonder.
What did John Rook say? That last little sound where he said they came up a little short.
Yeah.
I just feel like we're going to hear a lot of that in the next 2 months. And I know last week you were all like, yay, it's like, yeah, I love Cam English. I'm with you.
Okay.
But they're not okay. And they're not going to be okay. But when I look at the stats at the end of the game and I see 11 for 21 from the free throw line,
That's what I'm
that has
saying.
nothing to do with Bryce Hopkins not being in there. You find a way to win that game. When your point guard, Jaden Pierre, goes to the line and shanks two at any point in the game and your point guard can't make free throws, you're in trouble.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm not singling out anybody. I know Oduro's been weak the last couple of games. He's been struggling.
He's out of shape.
You're suspect with him, but that's his body. He was fine when he was scoring 20 early in the season. Now all of a sudden he's out of shape. I'm just saying when you're banging in the Big East.
I didn't say I was ever fine with him.
Okay. Well,
I'm just saying we need another big guy that can actually.
Again, they put Castro in the game. He's got butterfingers. He played 8 minutes. Listen, he can't catch the ball. If he catches the ball, he can't finish around the rim. If he gets fouled, he can't make free throws. He's useless to me. Okay, so they
0 for 3.
So they're in trouble this year. I don't want to play the. Devin Carter's been a revelation. 31 points. He's been the team, and from what I'm hearing, I've got some people inside the organization, inside the program.
Oh, excuse us.
My sources tell me that obviously when Bryce Hopkins went down, unfortunately, he texted Kim English the next day and said, "I got this. Lean on me. I've got this." Now, granted, they've lost a bunch of games. They've lost 3 or 4 in a row, but he's definitely, it's not because of Devin Carter on both sides of the ball. 31 points versus Rick Pitino's St. John's Red Storm. But the losses seem to be mounting up it's been growing right now.
And the fact that he fouled out because you knew the last shot, it was going to go to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never would have went with anybody else, but because he fouled out, he wasn't even on the floor to do it.
It's tough. It's tough to lose games like that.
That was a great game, though.
But I'm also hearing some other things within the program that says that Bryce Hopkins is going to have surgery next week. Hopefully that goes well. He's young. He should come back from it. But I'm already hearing that he is going to even hurt, he will test the waters. At least put his name into the NBA draft this year and see what happens. And I agree with you, especially hurt right now. And I'm already hearing
nothing to show.
I'm already hearing that if he comes back, that there's been some rumors that Ed Cooley's been trying to poach him. He's trying to get him to Georgetown next year because he couldn't transfer. Him and Carter had to stay at least the 1 year. They can transfer after this year, and that's the rumor I'm hearing already that Cooley's hot to bring him to Georgetown.
Cooley, you just shut it down. You go stay over there in New York.
Ed's 1-4 so far to start the season. Of course, Rick Pitino looks like he's got a little bit of a squad there at St. John's. They've got some athletes, and they still got the big guy Joel Soriano, who's been there for like 12 years.
He's 71, right?
Yeah,
72 or something?
Somebody the other night saying, Rick looks great. I'm like, his hair looks red. I don't know what maybe because he's coaching the Red Storm, but he looks like he dyed his hair like an awkward color.
You're making some money. Go to a real hairdresser.
Can I say one thing I still respect? And I'm not a Pitino fan because he's a liar and a phoney. Okay. But you know what I really like about him?
What?
He's one of the only coaches left that still wears a suit. I respect that. They don't wear ever since COVID, they just kind of dress down now.
Like the players.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that, but I respect anybody who still, puts a nice suit on.
He's 70-something years old.
He's old school.
Yeah.
He's old school.
But you're right. But his eyebrows do match his hair, so I don't know if he's doing a dye job on both.
We're checking brows over here.
Right.
But anyways, obviously a tough loss for Providence, and jump around the Big East a little bit. Marquette, some bad news for Marquette. They've been struggling. The kid from Cumberland, Tyler Kolek's had a couple of bad games. Marquette's 11-5, 2-3 in the Big East, but they lost their backup. This is a kid who's been filling in for Kolek and the kid Cam Jones, but they lose guard Sean Jones to a torn ACL. Only averages 5.8 a game in 16 minutes, but he gives them energy off the bench. Great defense. So that's a little bit of a loss for the Marquette Warriors. And we need some good news here in Providence and in this area after everything that's happened with Hopkins and the injury. PC was in on a big man, and they did land him on Thursday. And I know I sent it to you, and that's,
I can't.
I'm going to give it a bit, okay?
All right, because I don't. Maybe we have Steve come on camera and try and read this.
It's a tough one. I'm not going to lie.
It is a lot of letters.
Well, the bottom line is PC was in with 4 other teams. Oklahoma, who beat Providence early in the season, was pretty much the front runner. But PC lands a 6'10" center.
Every letter in the alphabet.
I'm going to give it a bit. His first name is Oswin. Okay.
Oswin, I got.
Yep. I'm going with Eartham Worse.
Look at Steve's face.
Listen, the bottom line is Providence.
Steve, come on camera. What do you think?
Providence has signed the big man, okay?
All right,
Oswin Eartham Wants.
All right. Steve, you go for it.
I don't know if I can.
You want to just call him Oswin? Call it a day?
Obviously. Big O.
Yep.
Yeah. The Big O. No one even got that joke.
Yeah, Eartham
Because they're guys.
What was it?
That's probably why.
Oh, wow. Who are you looking at?
I'm looking at the people watching,
Okay.
and I'm telling them how you're not listening to me and you're both on your phones.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we're trying to
your phone.
I know.
We're trying to gather information.
All right.
That's like me sometimes at work when I'm like,
Eartham Woods.
Eartham Woods.
All right, we'll go with it.
All right.
Well, anyways, he's a 4-5 star recruit. Like this kid's like one of their top rated guys that they've brought in since like Ricky Lato and Chris Dunn back like 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. This is a big get for Providence, so it's good news that Creighton was in on him, Oklahoma was in on him, so they beat him out. He announced it on YouTube yesterday at 4 o'clock or on Thursday. This is a big get for the Friars. You got a big man, and I believe he's for the class of 25, but because of all the prep school stuff, he can reclassify. So my sources tell me he'll be eligible and playing in the fall, coming next fall.
Great.
Yeah, I believe he's from Nigeria, but he's going to a prep school right now in Connecticut. And I think he lives in Fall River. So
so
Providence, well, they had some ties on, but this is a big get for Kim English, and I think he's in on another guard that he's trying to get, a kid Brown, Michael Brown Jr., Mikel Brown Jr. So he's loading up, trying to get some players for the next, great team. Because, even with the Hopkins thing, I've told you this before, you never want to see anything like that, but Hopkins is not his guy that he handpicked. So eventually he's going to have his own stamp on the team and bring his own guys in, like the George Mason guys, and then going forward. So it's going to be interesting, but it was some good news after a couple of tough weeks for the PC Friars.
And I like that they didn't give up, though. They were down by a lot. I like watching them. They're fun to watch.
No, they're not quitting. They're not quitting.
They almost had it. They really did. They almost had it.
They did. They were right there. And, of course, it looked like early in the game St. John's couldn't miss. Everything that they threw up went in. And I'm like, where's this PC defense that we've been seeing all year? It's been pretty good. It's just there's some little things, Jess, that they need to clean up. The free throw shooting is a concern. There was one play where Ticket Gaines took it to the basket. He got separation and then just missed a bunny.
Yeah.
And I know he's used to just spotting up and shooting threes, but everybody has to elevate their game. And I saw one thing I didn't like, even though I was at work, was the kid Corey Floyd, who's going to get a lot of minutes now.
Oh, yeah, throwing the ball at the kid.
Yeah, let me tell you something, Corey, okay? You're not good enough to throw a ball at somebody. Like, you're not good enough to.
Well, at least he hit him as opposed to a basket.
Okay, all right. But between that and the fact that, like, Floyd's just a fringe guy, you're not good enough to be, he played 10 minutes in that game to get a technical and cost your team points. I mean, you're just not. I just don't see that. And I guess, he only played 10 minutes in that game, so it resulted in a little bit of a seat as a cheerleader next to Kim English after something like that. But right now, they have a thin roster, so it's going to be, everybody's a little frustrated right now. They're starting to see the losses mount.
Right.
So.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Do you have any local stuff? We have 1 minute.
Yeah, so Michael Carlino from Johnston, he's the guy we've been following.
Yeah.
11 points the other day as they rolled Tiverton. They came back against Shea. The game before that, they were down 16 with 4 minutes to go. Michael had 20 in that game, so he's been doing a good job as the starting point guard, and they're playing really, really hard under Coach Mike Bedrosian. It's been a good season. I think they're unbeaten still in D2.
Big Mike?
I don't know who Small Mike is. Who's Big Mike?
Bedrosian?
Yeah, you know Mike?
Blonde?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Skip. Okay.
Carry
on.
That was lame.
How was your I was just asking. We called him Big Mike.
Oh, wow.
How was your Yeti? Did it serve its purpose?
Yeah. Boy, I'll tell you, it's right on point. There's no drippage. There's nothing.
No, that's why we always Yeti it up.
Oh, MJ on your Yeti?
Yeah. Isn't it beautiful?
As you throw it at YouTube?
Well, just saying, we're always looking for sponsors. Always looking for sponsors. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram. We're on 790 The Score Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. We're at the end of the show. We're at the end. Well, we had so much football stuff. It
No,
took
it's
up
a
lot of it.
big week. We got a lot of stuff still where Bill's going to land. Let's just enjoy the football this week. I hope you get the network you want for whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we got to look up peak.
We got to figure out a lot of things.
We got to do stuff. Anyway, this is Keeping Score with Jess and Dean. The Dream will be back at you next week, 8 a.m. And once again, follow us wherever you find your podcasts. And till next week, friend.
I'll see you then.
Bye.